Hello everyone and welcome back to the 1K World Cup 2025 presented by Joke. We have our final match for the weekend of the semi-finals for Furnited States versus Sweden. Lower bracket match. Loser of this is out. Winner stays in. And it's very close seeding. 5 versus 9. My name is Sleeby Maddy, and I will be solo commentating this one. And teams will do their role now. $23 from Brecklin for United States. $66 from Sweden. So look at first pick. And the first pick will be Classic 1, Gardens Under a Spring Sky. As I would like to welcome in Basil to the commentary booth again.
Yo, it is my pleasure to be here. Solo commentator who?
Exactly.
I got you. What a matchup. This is gonna be probably if I have to guess, this is probably gonna be the closest match we're gonna get in this entire round. We might see a tiebreaker. I'm hoping so. I'm hoping.
Yeah, these two teams, they kind of have the same strengths, same weaknesses, so it's going to be very close.
I definitely have a feeling that both of these teams are probably going to stray away from some of the charts, such as like Fragment of Soul and maybe Temptation. Just kind of playing with fire, and well, we'll definitely see them. But I really imagine we're going to see a bit more of these consistency-based picks, such as Gardens, like we're seeing, and maybe even Cocoa Waterside. Well, these teams have played their previous match, and of course they have succeeded. This was Sweden's luck?
Yep.
Interesting. They must have seen Furnited States' older scores. And they played pretty well. I believe both players getting over a 950k. So we'll see if Sweden feels maybe a little bit more comfortable in terms of raw accuracy here. And ooh, we're gonna find an early miss from Diamond Blaze right before the 4th stream, which everybody else does manage to hit pretty cleanly.
Yeah, the lead not jumping up too much because Sparky sitting around that 99.3 mark. So the accuracy is in the lead on the side of Sweden, but the miss is going to hurt.
Yeah, Brooklyn still managing to keep together a bit with a pretty phenomenal accuracy of 99.91. But Sweden not too far behind. Both players seeming rather consistent at this chart. And Diamond Blaze nearly getting back up to the combo cap now. But here we start the long streams, so anything can happen in anybody's game spell.
And it's just that miss that's giving this lead. The lead is going to shrink a bit, but Dracon is gonna find a break and a full bunch of accuracy drop in the end of the long stream section.
Possibly a little bit of nerves going in there with a very good accuracy and combo. Diamond Blaze still trying his best, and with Sparky finding a miss! Oh, but Neon Dragon unfortunately trades it right back, and it looks like it's gonna go to Furnited States by almost 50,000. Neon also dropping the last couple of notes, but pretty inconsequential. Wow, look at those accuracies. Wow. 31? Holy. Great ratios all around.
An immediate break point, though.
Yeah, definitely not what you want to see if you are Team Sweden, but it does possibly give them a bit more insight, especially with how US or for United States will be handling some of the more consistent based maps. I wouldn't be too shocked if United States immediately jumps into Cocoa Water Slide, given the possible inconsistencies with Sweden. But we will have to see. Could also see maybe a Snapside pick. Oh, and we see Snapside.
Yeah, Snapside. If you're comfortable with the, ironically, snaps of the map, then, you know, it's very just consistency focused. Rice. One tricky section with 1-5 and a 1-7, but I don't doubt that these players would be able to play that.
A little bit surprised that I only just now realized that's what Snapside might be referring to. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe I'm... It could just be happenstance, but they probably picked this based off of Sweden's last play of this during their battle against IDK Indonesia, in which they didn't perform super great, but both players in United States managed to keep over 900,000 in their match against Peru. But it's a pretty close game.
Yeah, we'll see if Furnited can capitalize on that break point and get an early 2-0 lead.
Yeah, if you're for United States, it's exactly the kind of map you probably want to throw them into. 1-0 going into something maybe a little bit trickier. Putting the pressure on them just a little bit more. Wow, Brooklyn almost keeping a V2 SS throughout the entire intro.
Here we go into the meat of the chart, and Brooklyn gonna find a few accuracy drops, but so will Neon Dracon. So it's gonna be Furnited to find the early lead.
All players still have Sing, which is pretty good, especially after that first mainstream section, I'd have to say. Nothing too tricky or technical just yet. And all players just about at the combo cap now. And here we go. Snap heaven. And Neon Dragon's gonna be fine at the first miss. Not seeming very comfortable with those 1-7s, and Diamond also joins with the misses. Sweden not quite able to catch on. And both players in the United States, for United States, I guess they are United States, it works too, but managed to be pretty comfortable, all things considered, with this chart. Brooklyn does find a miss, but it shouldn't be too much of a deal with an already 125,000 point lead.
Yeah, Neon Dracon found a huge chain miss on one of the streams as we go into the 1/5, 1/7 section.
Still maintaining the FC. I don't want to speak too early, man. Especially not with this really awkward slowdown stream happening. 1/7 into 1/5 into like 1/4, I think. Or it's very tricky. Ooh! Sparky drops the bad, but still maintains the FC.
And with this lead up to 200,000 and combos gone, and the time left in the map, Furnited will go up 2-0.
And Sparky managing to find their first FC. I don't know if it's their first actual FC in the start, but at least in match, their first FC on Snap side. Great performance from Sparky. All around, very good accuracies. Unfortunate drops over by Neon Draken, but it is now Sweden's pick. Anything can happen.
Yeah, and if you're Sweden, where do you go here?
I mean, if I were Sweden, I'd probably try to go for something long note based. I do think Furnited States does have a bit of a long note weakness. Unfortunately, I do believe Sweden does also at this current stage of the game. But I think with them also losing their pick on Gardens Under the Swing Sky, I think it might not be the best to go something like Cocoa Waterslide. Even Astronaut might be a pretty decent idea, but I do think if I were part of Team Sweden, probably just kind of throw them off with some long note that was hopefully practiced. Maybe like Hestia, so it's not something that... depends on what they practiced.
Yeah, I definitely don't think we see them picking either of the news.
Yeah, I think that's going to be... Whoa! They picked the fan too! Hey, we own the night by, I know that map. There's only so many times I can say that joke before it gets old, so let me have my fun.
It is the last match of the weekend, so...
Hey, what can I say? This might actually be a very good pick for Team Sweden, especially if they're able to hit the 235 BPM longer streams. They're not really long streams, but they are a bit longer than most people are probably comfortable with. But if they are able to hit it, there's a chance that Furnited might not be able to hit this BPM. I do know Furnited does have a tendency to be very consistent at these slower BPM ranges. And by slower, there's quotation marks around that because nothing in this map pool is slow. But at least below like 200 BPM, they seem to be a bit more relatively consistent. But with 200 thank you. Furnited did play Beyond the Night in their last match. Nobody did FC, although Sparky did get a 0 miss. And they did have pretty decent scores. So we'll have to see how Sweden plays.
I'm gonna find a drop in the intro, just not holding the LN long enough.
Thankfully, very, very low combos all around, so it shouldn't be too big of a game changer. But unfortunately, they do find another miss. And Neon also takes it back with his teammate. Both players in the Furnited States managing to hold on to their combos, at least for now. Oh, but Brooklyn finds a really, really rough miss. But still managed to hold on to the lead by a little bit over 10,000. But that lead is wiggling around a little bit.
Yeah, Sweden does have the accuracy advantage slightly just on the basis of Diamond Blaze's 99.3.
Oh, and unfortunately, they just miss one of those gallops. Wasn't too dirty, so they are still up there in the accuracy department, but they're gonna find another miss.
Just not looking comfortable with the doublets.
And right before going to the harder part of the chart, Brooklyn just about back at combo cap, and Spark holding on very, very strong.
That is going to let the lead grow.
And Neon not finding too much comfort in those longer streams of 235 BPM. Missing one of the flames, Brooklyn trades back.
The Dracon just not finding their footing, not finding their ground in this map.
Pick might not have been exactly what Sweden was looking for. With the rest of the chart being relatively simple, there's not too much of a chance for a large win, but anything can happen, of course. There's still a good quarter of the map left.
Sparky still holding on to that combo.
Sparky! Yeah, having fantastic luck and Diamond finding a miss, and that's pretty much going to seal the deal.
Yeah, there's not much left in the map. And it would be really surprising to see a break from the side of the United States.
And Sparky will be fighting, I believe, the FC. Right, exactly, the FC. Pretty good accuracies all around. Unfortunately, Sweden just not being able to hold a high enough combo for it to counteract Brooklyn's misses. And for United States, will be taking the lead even further with a 3-0 on their pick.
Yeah, both teams showing their best, as there is the chance of elimination here.
I mean, if you're US, you just want to go like... I mean, the entire world's your oyster here. But probably Cocoa Waterslide.
Yeah.
And we're gonna see Cocoa Waterslide.
There it is.
Especially with their performance on Gardens Under a Spring Sky. They're probably hoping for something similar of an outcome. And if all players are able to hit the flams, it will be completely up in the air on who is able to pull out in front. Sweden not seeming very comfortable, judging by their reactions.
Maybe that's why they avoided it.
I actually believe this is the first time we're gonna see this map being played by both these teams. No, actually, Sweden did play Cocoa Waterslide, and last against IDK Indonesia, Diamond Blaze performed pretty well, but Neon scoring pretty hardcore 647k. We will have to see if there's any improvement in that. But Neon's gonna be funny. The first was really early on with a pretty rough lockout.
Yeah, Neon just hitting way too late for the streams. Picking up a bunch of bad judgments and misses.
I mean, I'd probably put that many too if I was playing on a 40 scroll speed. Neon gonna be the only one finding misses over in the flam section, but still holding on, managing to come up to an S. unfortunately just chokes the stream. United States holding on extraordinarily well. Brooklyn nearly tying with Diamond Blaze.
That's just unfortunately, Neon Dracon cannot play the map, and that's gonna be their downfall.
As we come to the last leg of the chart, there is a 150,000 point differential, which is with both players of Team Sweden finding a miss there, makes this pretty much nearly unrecoverable. I don't want to jinx it.
All below the 90% mark.
And both players in Furnited States is going to be managing to grab the FC of Coco Water Slides. Great performance from Furnited States. And
Brooklyn
well played.
barely not V1 SSing.
That's so sad. I didn't actually notice the good. I mean, maybe Sweden would go... They're probably not going to, but maybe like Fragment of Soul. Just to kind of see if for United States maybe didn't practice it as much. Even though Sweden doesn't necessarily have fantastic scores on it, from what I know. It might just be a... What's the word? Like a last-ditch effort. Desperado. That's what the word is.
Yeah, I think you'd either go Fragment or maybe Hestia.
I mean,
Gotta start
Francis
picking
is
those
still
Olympics.
avoiding. They still are avoiding long notes. So maybe that could be the play. Definitely Hestia would be the more reasonable choice. Yeah, we're gonna see
They're gonna
Fragment.
be Fragment.
Throw it all at the wall and see if anything works. It's kind of what you have to do right now. This could be their last pick, so.
That's how you know your pasta's done. Throw it at the wall.
No, I don't think I will. Wasting perfectly good pasta. It also depends on what the kind of noodle it is. Maybe spaghetti, but... Get some of the shell pasta and throw it at the wall. Just... The dog comes over like, what the heck? Food for me? Yeah, last performance Sweden had of Fragment of Soul. Both players, again, seem to struggle just a little bit on some of those streams. Neon holding a 781 and Diamond with an 867. We'll see if they can improve their performance from last round. I'd imagine all the nerves are probably gone at this point. At least in terms of Sweden, they just kind of want to try to get some points off. Alright, finding some early 200s there. Starting the map just a little tiny bit late. This being the first time Sweden's going to be holding the lead at least. By a pretty solid 5,000, 6,000 now.
Yep, both players on Sweden holding that 99.7 plus. While on Furnited States, Sparky just getting back to that 99 and Brooklyn 99.3, so pretty big act lead for the side of Sweden.
And Diamond's gonna be fighting the first miss, but we're going into the chorus where we'll see what happens. Brooklyn finding a trade. Neon, unfortunately, trading that right back. Brooklyn not being able to find their footing. Sweden taking the lead by about 20,000, but it's gonna bounce right back. With the Neon finding a miss, the Portland trades that right back too. You know, everyone's missing. Except for Sparky. Oh, and unfortunately, Sparky is going to find a miss on the hardest part of the chart, the long notes. And that's definitely not what you want to do if you are Furnited. They did not kick a kid. They were not Furnited. And Brooklyn not getting oh my god! Even though it was traded, both players finding a miss on Furnited stateside on that flam. Neon Draken does trade back again. But the lead is still a solid 60,000 in their lead. They need to be able to hold on during this last chorus.
Oh, Neon Draken.
They need to be able to find that combo again.
Ah! It all comes down to the last chorus.
It is literally anybody's game at this point.
This lead is not safe.
But Diamond holding on to a really solid accuracy. Neon trading, but Brooklyn not able to find their rhythm here. Diamond does find a miss.
Diamond's fetching.
It's going over!
Judgment, it's going over!
And it swings over! No!
Diamond Blaze
Unfortunate for
is picking
Team
up
Sweden.
all of those bad judgments.
That was might be the fastest 50,000 point swing I think I've ever seen. Yeah, great performance from these two teams. I mean, this is not a joke of a chart. Diamond not quite able to hold it together to up the performance of their teammate, but all combos roughly around the same. I mean, if you're Furnited, I think you just close out on something chill. Maybe Astronaut. Nothing too crazy. Make sure it's nice and look ahead. Yep, that's another probably pretty good pick, especially seeing their performance on Cocoa Waterslide. And we own the night. In kind of those faster BPM ranges.
Yeah.
If you're Sweden here, you just gotta hope for a miracle. It would be the comeback of a century, though.
Will Furnited close that out in a sweep?
It might be the first sweep that we see this round. I think. I keep saying that. But...
Second.
Oh yeah, because China and Australia.
Yep. I think that was one of the first matches, so starting with a sweep and ending with a sweep.
Sweden has got to hold on during this chart. Sparky finding some pretty unfortunate intro. But Neon does trade it back.
This lead for Sweden, very tiny, off of the back of those misses.
We're getting to the burst. Everybody hitting the first part. Unfortunately, Neon will be finding the first miss, but Sparky shoots it right back. But their lead does grow to about 20,000. Brooklyn's gonna be finding a miss, and that lead immediately shrinks, and it goes right back up a little bit with Neon's miss, but it was clean enough. And Neon finding some pretty harsh misses in the long stream. Here we go. Neon, the only one not possibly comfortable enough on this BPM range. Sparky does trade it back, but it's probably not going to be enough yet, especially with Neon unfortunately not being able to get their footing here.
Diamond Blaze is trying to pull their team back in this, and everyone finds a break.
Except for Diamond,
Except Diamond, yeah.
who is holding in incredibly strong.
That score is insane. Does get
On the
tripped up.
triplets of doom. Anything can happen. This ending is definitely awkward. It's very easy to calm walk out by misreading. Oh, but Sweden's gonna be finding their reset.
It's going to increase the lead towards the Furnited States. And they are not dropping. They are not faltering. Sparky will find a miss, but Team Sweden unable to find their ground in the outro.
And everyone's dropping. Sweden just not being able to find comfort in this BPM range, and the win is going to be going to Furnited States by about 200,000 score. It will be a sweep, ladies and gentlemen.
Congratulations, Furnited States. They'll be moving on in the lower bracket. And commiserations to Sweden as they will be knocked out. Their journey in the 1K World Cup 25 is over.
It was a valiant effort. They have made it all the way to nearly the finals loser bracket. Making it to the finals, I mean, with the teams we have this year, is remarkable. But well played to Sweden and for United States. Congratulations on locking in your ticket for United States with your pretty incredible runs. I believe they will be going against, let's see. They will be going against United Kingdom. That will be a match.
That'll be a very interesting match.
That might be the craziest match that we're going to see next round. Maybe, we'll have to see. There's also Japan versus UK, so. But up next, I'm not sure how too long it will be the showcase for the finals map pool, which is, I don't know if anybody else is nervous, but I know I am.
Yeah, so we will announce when that showcase will be going live. It will be soon, I think. I don't know how soon. But until then, we will see you all next time for the finals map pool showcase. Bye-bye.
too late. Too late.
told you I couldn't wait to see ya. But the truth, I've got some kind of amnesia. You crept upon me, said you thought of me fondly. And finally, since we let go, you're ready to say hello. What do you hope to see coming to this place? Said you'd never call up. Now you're all up in my face, in my face, in my face.
Alrighty, hello everybody and welcome back to 1K World Cup 2025 presented by Joke. We are down to our second to last round of this tournament. Already flew by so fast, but we are here in the finals now, and before we send you all on your way to this to the next week, we gotta show off what maps they'll be playing in the finals. Just some little ground rules before we go into this showcase. Two things: the conditionals still exist, and also there will now be 7 classic maps and a new fan pick. So there'll be 7 classics and 3 fan picks. Also, the match procedure will now be a best of 13. And first to 7 in the finals, so hence why the map pool has gotten a boost. But for now, I am Sunny, commentating this showcase, but commentating along with me is gonna be Basil. How's it going, Basil?
Yo, it's going great. You said 2025? There's been that many 1K World Cups? That's crazy.
True.
News to me.
2025, this is the 2025th edition of the 1K World Cup. Stay tuned for 2026 when we will not be doing one. But what we can say is that we can just get things started and move right along to these maps.
Oh.
And we are hitting already Joke 3 grand finals, ladies and gentlemen, and it is going to be one miss by Billy Amoto. I think everyone who has been around, not even for Joke 3, maybe even later on, should know this pick. Very, very popular map in the Joke scene.
Yeah, I actually played this one a little bit ago, funny enough. Obviously being a part of, I wasn't personally a part of Joke 3, but this map is very difficult, very tricky, has a lot of very fast bursts. Definitely something to keep your toes out. Yeah, this is just pretty monster of a chart.
Yeah, kind of alluding to, I would like to say that alludes to, oh geez, what's, Choco Water Slide there with that really tricky doublet section, but also another key takeaway is just not only are these bursts extremely fast at 211 BPM, but also those timing changes. It feels like you're hitting what seems to be like 1/4 into really awkward 1/3. So your timing needs to be even more precise than the likings of a couple other maps we've had in the semifinals, such as Fan 1.
Especially with the OD being a 7.5, this is no walk in the park. And definitely a precursor for how difficult this map pool is going to scale, especially up from the semifinals.
Yeah, you can already see with that star rating, nearing the 5-star section. This is like, we are trying so hard to make things actually difficult, but there's still people out here just treating it like a walk in the park. I think this is the round where we start to see some of the greats in this tournament start to really trip up on a few of these sections. And oh my goodness, that stream right there, that will probably throw some people off guard.
Yeah, there is no lack of snap changes during these streams. You've got 1/6, you've got 1/8. You probably even got some 1/7 in there. I'd be really surprised if you didn't. And very long streams.
Pretty much, I mean, obviously when it comes to Sparks mapping, very, very difficult compared to maybe some of the stuff you would probably see from Jay, as Sparks definitely loves to up the ante for just the textbook definition of difficult and really put the grand finals pretty much as serious as possible with Joke 3. But yeah, that will wrap up Classic 1. It will be one miss by Billy Amoto.
If you're scared.
Yeah, you can kind of already see from this opening map, it's just only going to get harder. And here we go. We're going to go back in time to Joke 2 here. We're going to be in the finals for Joke 2, man. And it's going to be, oh boy. the Leaf chart. I'll just say that.
Yeah, 230 BPM. This is coming in strong. It is a little bit less of an OD, and I do believe this map is a little bit more straightforward. And I'm immediately proven incorrect with some pretty fast 6-per.
Yeah, I think most players, if you definitely have not been around for Joke 2, you can definitely kind of feel your way just by hearing the song alone. It's a very notable song, so you can kind of guess what you can, or kind of predict what will be up next. But yeah, some pretty daring timing changes opening up. And then you can see just some 1/3s here, or 1/6. Lots of nasty streams and bursts. Nothing really much to write home about this drop here. Pretty much simple, but also very tricky to handle gallops, because you also need to transition out into regular 1-2. So basically just testing how well you can transition in and out of these sections.
There is probably going to be a combo for the Storm, but it does look like it is going to be with more consistent based chart for some Rice players. At least it doesn't seem too easy, or not too easy to choke compared to at least the first chart.
Yeah, and this is a section where I believe some people would where most people would trip up the most, is that section right there.
And coming in the closing of the chart, it doesn't look like it gets too insane. It might be a safer pick for maybe players that don't want to play some of the more typical options that are going to be, I'm sure, present in this pool. Typical finals map pool shenanigans. Makes me really nervous for grand finals, but
yeah, this is finals, ladies and gentlemen. But with that pretty straightforward chart, nothing gimmicky thrown at you, just textbook bursts and streams. But watch out for that ending. As just don't rest your hands on the keyboard just yet, as you have to deal with that ending. But with that will wrap up Classic 2. We can head on to Classic 3. We're going to stay in the Joke 2 range and also Joke 2 finals. It's going to be Waste Schwarz, I believe, by Ceatrix and C-Rock.
I've never played this chart before, but being a part of the finals, especially Joke 2 finals, which are pretty renowned, I can only imagine. Yeah, it's already looking a little bit awkward, but pretty slow BPM, at least compared to the last cards we've seen.
Yeah, definitely a lot more stream-based than the last two charts we have seen, with the occasion of a couple gallops and doublets here and there. But I feel like this will be more or less your stream/consistency-based pick if you're going to go more into the kind of like dissecting which classic map you should go for. If you feel consistent and you can hit these streams, I can definitely see this being probably one of the most picked classic charts of this final round here, and getting more into these more elongated streams here.
The ACT players will have the time of their life here. I am very, very sure of that. But these are kind of weird. Those are a little bit. Those seem a little bit awkward to kind of transition from.
Yeah, oh boy.
Here we go.
Heading into a stream section with some bursts hidden in between here. I feel like this is where note locks and rushing and dragging, pretty much everything, and not to mention this 1/3 transition as well. I feel like that is just a recipe for, yeah, like these timing switches. That is a recipe for column locking, rushing, dragging, pretty much the worst you can imagine. And this is nearing the tail end of the map, and oh my goodness, it just doesn't feel like it's gonna end. But then it does.
It does give me some Angel Dust vibes.
Yeah, definitely. If you're the Angel Dust from, I'm just gonna say 1K World Cup quarterfinals, because that's when we used that. But oh boy, we're heading into grand finals now. This is Joke 2 grand finals, and it's going to be Challenger by Creo a bit more of your LN focused classic chart. As you can see here.
Those doublets are definitely going to be pretty awkward to learn.
Yeah, I feel like probably not one of the hardest charts you'll be playing in this pool when it comes to long note. But still, you can definitely see lots of very nasty bursts kind of sprinkled in between these more LN dominant sections. And then you have some doublets here that just really keep you on your toes, that really you just need to transition in and out perfectly.
Yeah, it gives me strong vibes of Sayu Sanjay, the CL3 of last pool, especially with all these doublets and triple note gallops.
Yeah, I feel like a pick like this, you really need to just make sure, like, this is probably one of the, like, I guess, I wouldn't say really a timing hell, but more or less just how precise can you be on hitting and releasing these LNs, because one bad release could screw up your entire run, especially here.
Oh yeah, no, that is if you miss once here, you are probably calm lockout.
And also, not to mention, this is OD8, ladies and gentlemen, so trying to release a tad bit early on those tails can lead to potentially some nasty, like pretty nasty 200s, but maybe even some 100s if you're not careful. As we're back with this drop. Nothing really too much to worry about here, just how well can you hold and release these LNs before it kind of transitions back into these nasty hybrids, where I get more of a hybrid-based section with these bursts, which kind of repeats itself here in this final quarter. It does go on for quite a bit as well. You're only 1/4 of the map left. This is nearing the 3-minute mark.
Yeah, all these maps so far have been on a bit of the longer side, but that's kind of expected as we dive deeper and deeper into these map pools.
Yeah, soon we'll be having 5-minute rice maps or classic charts. Expect that in the grand finals. I'm just kidding, by the way. Yeah, tiebreaker will be an hour long. It's gonna be every single joke Dan put into one giant marathon.
They don't have time to really put the pressure.
Yeah, and on like halftime. Yeah. That will be classic. Classic 4. Wow, that challenger by Creo. We can just move right on to classic 5, and it's going to be a map everyone should know song-wise. It's going to be Cybernetics here. And this is going to be a bit more of a hybrid-based classic, as you can kind of already see with this opening here. Not very welcoming of an opening.
Yeah, that at the beginning will definitely catch some people off guard. And more doublet spam. You gotta.
And if that doesn't trip you up, surely these doublets will. And kind of continuing that trend as well with these streams with the very fast bursts kind of hidden in between them as well.
Yeah, it'll definitely be a bit awkward with some of the LN releases. Probably, hopefully not over tapped.
Yeah, I feel like some players that we have left remaining can probably breeze through some of those sections. It's just they really need to be on par. And oh boy, yeah, this section here, and then you're hit with a full LN drop right after that. Those very nasty streams with bursts, transitioning right into this pure LN release hell. Look at how tight those releases are, and 1/3 timing switches as well. I feel like this will be highly avoided if you're not one that is comfortable with balancing out those the more physical section of Rice and the timing portions of Long Note.
It's like Hestia, the hard mode. I'm not too sure about how the math works, but 170 BPM at 1 sec, especially for some of those longer streams. Ugh. Looks very, very fast. Maybe 300 BPM? I'm not too sure.
Yeah, but that will wrap up Cybernetics. Very short map, less than 2 minutes, so don't really have much time to make mistakes, but it is in fact OD 6.5, so you don't really gotta worry about the OD. But we can move right along to Classic 6, and it's going to be a Joke 3 finals. It's going to be, I believe, Heracles by you.
It's Heracles. This is not an easy chart at all.
Yeah, and oh man, opening up already with kind of some ties to, maybe you can call this a speed chart if you were in the semifinals, but no, this is we haven't even hit the speed map yet, or like the speed based chart. Oh boy,
this chart is just absolutely brutal. And here we go into the drop, and yep, there's those doublets, awkward timings, tons and tons of bursts. And these are very fast bursts, coming in at 193 BPM. I believe some of those are 8s as well.
and more of just these timing switches in these bursts, but thankfully not really the longest, or like I'm pretty sure you could probably go through that chart, and oh my goodness, yeah, I think this section here will probably trip up some most players. These doublets that transition in out of these long bursts here in these streams, not the most comfortable of patterns at all.
Yeah, the doublets, especially surrounded by the note, just make this chart, as if it wasn't hard enough already.
Yeah, that's kind of the extra slap on the face if you are feeling that this map is a bit too easy for your liking, and then you're hit with this, and pretty much Charcoal Water Slide, but with LNs.
And burst, and it doesn't end. If it's only 2 minutes, let me tell you, this will not feel like a 2 minute long chart. This will feel like way, way longer.
Yeah, it feels like it never ends, but then thankfully it is over. Then again, pretty short map. Only under 2 minutes, so don't really gotta worry about much, but here we are with Classic 7. This is going to be your speed-based chart. It's going to be... Yeah, we're jumping down to the semifinals here in Joke 2.
That must mean the chart is not that hard. That's what that must mean, right? Of course.
Yeah, totally, right? Clueless emoji.
202 BPM.
But oh boy. I feel like this is more technical speed than just pure fast, like 250 BPM streams. As you can see, it's a lot more technical, where you're balancing out these 1-2s with some nasty bursts hidden in between. I feel like that's the aspect that Jay was looking at when charting this all the way back in Joke 2. And Jay could correct me if I'm wrong here.
Who knows what's in that guy's head sometimes?
Oh yeah, for sure.
You gotta be
definitely
a
not
psychopath to make
seals.
these maps. That being said, it does seem a little bit of a safer option, especially with some of the charts that we've seen so far. It's definitely, at least up until this halfway point, be a really good pick if your team is pretty consistent on some of the more standard rice bursts.
Yeah, I can definitely see some arguments of this being more easy than what we had last round, if you feel like the BPM is too much of a step down. But oh boy, we're kind of back in with this what we kind of saw earlier with these bursts changing. I'm pretty sure these are different snapping bursts as well, kind of hidden in between these streams here, which can definitely trip up some players if you are not careful. And it just goes on for the rest of the map. And
those are pretty long.
I feel like that's going to be the stamina killer right here. Is this final section, but that's pretty much all there is left. You get a fairly tame ending.
Yeah, it kind of looked like the Temptation ending with the 1/8 burst.
And with that, that will conclude your classic maps. We did add one more classic map, but everything else will be the same besides the fan picks. But with that, we can move on to possibly the worst map in this pool. It is going to be Old
No.
It is going to be OD10 Speed, ladies and gentlemen. It is going to be Endymion. if you know anything about Endymion, oh my god, this map is hell. 220 BPM, OD10 speed. I feel like you must be out of your damn mind if you feel like picking this map. Outside of that, it's a banger.
The thing is, like, it starts off pretty, not too crazy, but it very slowly escalates into something that is just so hard to play in OD10.
Yeah, I feel like this portion here, it doesn't look too bad, right? It's just regular speed. But then you look at the OD and realize, I'm in danger. Because your precision to nail 220 streams on OD10 and also some of these nasty transitions, it is one hell of a challenge. And we're gonna hit with some more streams here, and that transition there, like these transitions into these long notes, and then here comes the 1/3. That's gonna be a pretty tricky transition here and there, and then just some tricky gallops here in between. A lot being thrown at you in just short little time. This is under 2 minutes as well.
It does not feel like it. Not at all.
And,
of course,
and here comes another tricky part. More 1/3. And one final stream, one final gallop.
And of course, where would we be without some doublets?
Yeah, we are obsessed with doublets here. Exactly. And with that, that will conclude Endymion, also known as the worst map in the game. In Sunny's opinion. But yeah, that will be your old pick for this map. We can move on to our fan picks. We have added one more pick, so we are going to give even more love to the Joke fans. And hey, wait a second, Sparks was featured in one of the classic picks. What?
Aww. Rigged. That's what it is. It's rigged.
Exactly.
I do remember playing this part once. I don't exactly remember it too well, but being at OD8 in a Sparks map, I can only imagine.
Yeah, like I mentioned, Sparks is not one to be wary of the difficulty or like wary about how hard they need to map things. They just say yes and map it as hard as they possibly can. And seeing how there are no limits, this is Sparks' map, not controlled by the Joe Mafia here. They can do whatever they want, and they just went all in here.
Oh my god, this map is insane.
Some of the nastiest bursts you'll be hitting this round. And just add some LN on top of that, why don't you?
Again, it would have been too easy without it, I'm sure.
Exactly.
The steals, they're magnetizing the long note to attract them for the chart. That's what they're doing.
Yeah. The antenna is meant to signal where all the long notes are. The wrench is just there in case something happens.
It's like a telegraph in the storyboard.
Yes, exactly. Now you see why all the seals have purposes, people. And oh my god! And more doublets! Who doesn't love doublets, guys?
Those bursts are gonna be so killer to learn.
Map would have been too easy without them.
Wrench Seal, we need you to get in there and stop the long notes from happening. Come on. There must be balance.
And more of these nasty bursts into a pretty, I would argue and say it's a bit more of a simpler section compared to what we've seen earlier, when it just kicks it back full gear in this final part of the map. And oh my goodness, if your stamina is not gone somehow, then you are out of this world.
Yeah, that 1/6 stream, of course, right at the end, because why not?
Yeah, but that will be your first fan pick. Thank you, Sparks, for mapping this. We're going to be moving on now to a new face. Oh! What is this?
Is it SV
Is
or is
this-
it a really slow scroll speed? Always
Is
gotta
this
I can't
SV? It's SV, ladies and gentlemen! Fan 2, your SV pick. But very minor SV.
I was about
because
to say, you were so confident. I was like, wait, is this like a full SV chart?
I wish it was a full SV chart, but it's just slow jam.
I
It is
just
going
know
to
I'm gonna
be.
get so many 300s there.
It's
Ugh.
oh. That's all the SV you're getting.
I can
But it is going to
imagine
be.
300s, dude.
Oh yeah. I feel like lots of players will be rushing this section if they feel like going for it. But yeah, this will be, I believe, decided by Super Triple S. And those S's mean slider velocity, SV, and speed variation.
Well, those things together, of course.
Yes. That is gonna trip up some players. That transition into that nasty slow jam right there.
At least physicality-wise, it doesn't seem too out there. So it could be a safe pick against your opponents if they haven't maybe practiced for that. They could get tripped up on some of the SVs.
Yeah, it's more just textbook, just textbook bursts and streams here and there. But of course, the main outlier will be the SV. I guess quote SV. It's just really just slow jam, but technically considered SV. So to all the oh my yeah, that verse is nasty. To all the SV deniers that oh, there's gonna be no SV in this tournament. No. Here you go.
Oh,
It may not be much. Newsflash, buddy. We got it. As oh my goodness, there it is. We got SV.
There's SV in the map. Let's go.
Yeah, this ending, going all in, these gallops, these bursts, and of course, the SV, and why not a timing change on top of all of that?
Oh. Those bursts are so fast.
All of a sudden, I love this map pool. I don't know why, Basil, but all of a sudden, I'm just loving this map pool.
I didn't
This
like it
looks
until
like-
now. Now it's great.
Yeah, this is like my new favorite map pool. Thank you, Super Triple S, for this pick.
Oh,
But
an
we're gonna be
HZ
moving on.
map.
Yeah, we're gonna see HZ. I mean, we saw Basil. We saw the names not coming to mind. Hold on. We saw Basil. We
Hey.
saw. Yeah, that's you. I believe we also saw a player from the Peru team, Alemano. So why not add some more joke players into the fan pick? And it's going to be Quantum Leap, mapped by HZ. And wow, we are nearing 5 stars, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, this looks like probably a bit more consistency-based pick, at least as it appears for now. But it does go on for quite a long time. Oh, and some doublets.
Yeah, I feel like this will all boil down to just one giant consistency test. So just as long as you have that consistency in there, you should be fine with this map, but also that stamina component, because this goes on for almost 2.5 minutes. Just pure streams that go 190 BPM streams, and also some of these bursts that come out of nowhere that can catch you off guard. But you do have a break here.
As much of a break as it is.
Yeah, I would consider that a break compared to the rest of this map.
Oh! There's a little 2-6 burst nestled within a nice little quarter note.
Who doesn't love it?
47 too, so yeah, I definitely think this is going to be a pretty solid consistency pick. I keep saying that and then get met with very difficult bursts. But
Yeah, you're kind of eating up your own words here. But I don't know who. I think more forward in with this chart. Nearing the tail end, it's pretty much just going to be same with the streams at 190. So like I mentioned, going to be heavily focused on that more, just how well can you handle your consistency, and yeah, some bursts to end off that map. It's going to be very tricky if you're not comfortable with your consistency. But with that will conclude all the fan picks. Thank you, Spark, Super Triple S, and HZ for your contributions to the 1K World Cup 2025. But for now, we can now move on to our new picks. Starting off with new one, it's going to be Don't Say, open bracket, Osu, exclamation mark, edit, close bracket, by Andromedic, I think? Something like that. Andromedic.
Andromeda, maybe.
Andromedic, yeah, that makes the most sense.
And this chart is the one that's replacing Temptation, I believe. So we will see how this will fare up to that monster of a chart. Only 3.46 stars.
I would like to assume it's heavily long note focused, hence the very low star rating in contrast to some of the other maps we have seen. And yeah, I mean, we could see, I would call this a timing hell for 1K right here. It's a fairly short map. Yeah, the Australian Wand Crystal. Not the hardest map in the world compared to other maps we have seen in this pool, but like I said, heavily long note focus, your coordination, and as well as, of course, doublets, need to be on par.
There's definitely a few trickier long note tails here that I see that don't just appear like they'd be staccato, but they aren't. So definitely something to watch out for. Wow. I mean, yeah, those doublets are just brutal. And they already look brutal. I don't know how they managed to make this only three stars. But... Oh!
Yeah, I'm surprised. Oh my goodness. Jay needs to calm down a bit here, but just right back into it with just regular textbook long note. Nothing really much to write home outside of that jump scare there.
There are a few of those short tails that are a little bit, you have to pay a little bit of attention, but all things considered, nothing too bad for one of the new charts.
Yeah, that will be a new one. Don't Say, Osu edit. And for this next pick, buckle up and get ready, because you all will be blasting off into the sunset. Wow. Just wow. Thank you to one Trina Lydia for that insane custom that will be late night rocket ride for new to once again Trina Lydia. Thank you so much. You are insane. Huge shout out to Pineapple for the artwork, and I guess we can thank Jay for the map as well. But Basil, how'd you feel about that chart? You're gonna most likely be playing this next week.
Yeah, I mean, it looks pretty fun. It was a bit on the longer side, so definitely a bit more of a stamina challenge, but nothing seemed as it was like super awkward. So I definitely think it'll be a really fun map to practice.
And with that, that only leaves one map left, and that is going to be your tiebreaker for the finals. And it's going to be Train of Thought.
Yeah, I actually know the song, I think. I might. I heard this chart is going to be insane, so I am very much looking forward to it.
A banger of a song, by the way. Also gotta love the background as well. Very accurate representation of the Toronto subway.
I don't think that is...
But it's a very accurate... Close enough.
Is it? Oh, yeah, it's close enough.
No.
We are just shy of the 5-star range. I can only be excited to see what awaits us in the grand finals. But with this tiebreaker, it doesn't seem too hard. But I feel like it must get proven wrong.
Yeah, I feel like you are with just the very free, like pretty much free jazz they have going on here, where the piano basically doing whatever it wants here. I can definitely see lots of timing switch ups here and there, and yeah, some 1/3, 1/4, some 1/8 here and there, and just some streams raining down out of nowhere.
It is hide and seek mixed with Snapside mixed with the old chart from semifinals.
Yeah, basically guessing what timing you're going to be after hitting at here, and guessing when these streams rain down here.
Yeah, some of these doublets are not the friendliest. I don't believe they're all on 1/8. I felt like that one had to be a little bit tighter, but
yeah, but
this
alas,
is going to be a nightmare to read.
Yeah, I don't feel like if you do get into a tiebreaker scenario, this will definitely be not one you can definitely cruise through. I will say that.
This is really awkward timing wise.
Yeah, lots of timing. Oh! Okay.
Oh, water
We're
slide.
kinda-
Back at it again.
Yeah, we're kind of back to square one here.
That being said,
But-
I mean, at least it does seem relatively consistent.
Yeah, keeping the consistency with mainly just these doublets here and there with some bursts rating down. So once you get the hang of how things go, it's pretty much a smooth sail from here on out. Once you gain your train of thought on how these patterns go, you should be okay. It's just trying to keep that consistency for this near 5.5 minute long gauntlet. But thankfully, you do get a break. We are nice.
I wouldn't consider Jay to be very nice, especially in terms of his mapping. But
You do have a point. Never mind. I take back what I said.
I have a sneaking suspicion that this ending is going to be... Oh.
Yeah, this doesn't feel 5 stars. And I'm going to be eating up my words very, very quickly.
I feel like a big part of the trick factor in this... Whoa! It's a stick first.
Yeah.
Very fast first. I feel like a big part of this chart is going to be revolved around not overstreaming. Because some of these do seem like offhand ending streams. Oh my god. Okay, there we go.
This is where
That was an eighth, I
it
think.
really starts to pick up the pace. 1/8, that's what, 360?
Yeah.
Jeez Louise, yeah, I feel like this map, nearing the end, you do not take your foot off the pedal or take your foot off the gas at any moment. You always have to stay dialed in. You cannot, there are no such thing as actual breaks in this chart. Even though the map does wind down, it kind of just slaps you in the face with one of the trickiest sections of the map. But with that, a little bit of streams, a little bit of bursts, nothing that we have not seen before.
This will be very draining on the stamina. If you manage to play all the way up until the tiebreaker, and then having to play this tiebreaker and up until the end, it is not going to be a very fun time for your hand.
Yeah, I feel like nearing this final quarter of the map, that stamina component's really gonna start to kick in, especially with more of these streams raining down, these bursts, these doublets, everything just crumbling down on you here.
I'm excited to see who gets the first set of stamina.
Yeah, it's bound to happen, but thankfully, this bumpy train ride will be coming to a close very soon, as you'll be arriving at your station in roughly 3 seconds. And that will be it. Yeah, very amazing song. Thank you to Can't Soul, and thank you to Taiko World Cup for shout out to Taiko World Cup for this amazing custom song for their tiebreaker, or for their OSU original for round of 16. But yeah, that will be your tiebreaker train of thought, and that will be your finals map pool. Just a reminder for anybody who just tuned in and missed out on the intro. We have added one more classic map and one more fan pick. As well, matches will no longer be best of 11 first to 6. It's now a best of 13 first to 7, which will answer the question as to why the map pool did grow in size. But with that, Basil, do you have anything else to close out this stream with?
Good luck to all the players and all the teams that are currently still in the match. If you guys aren't in the tournament, so feel free to practice the map pool. Let us know how you feel about it. This is going to be a wild excursion that these teams are going to have to go through to play this map pool. Hope for nothing but the best for you guys. Make sure you practice.
We're going to be seeing some insane matches this next weekend. We're going to see whether the United Kingdom or Japan will be punching in their guaranteed second place spot next week, as well as the remaining 4 teams down in the losers bracket going to be battling to see who will have a shot to either verse Japan or the United Kingdom in that winners grand finals. All that, or losers grand finals next week. Well, all that will be happening next weekend, but for now, Basil, I think we can end things here and close off the stream and let the players practice the pool. So for now, I've been Sunny, and Basil, if you want to just yeah.
And I've been Basil. Thank you guys so much for watching the showcase, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day.
Yeah, have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and we will see you all later. Good luck. Take care.